I live in Singapore where the temperature goes up to 37 degrees Celsius and the average humidity level is 86%. My job requires a lot of travelling on public transport, so I'm exposed to the sun and rain quite often throughout the week. Over the past few months, I've been testing the Jisulife Pro1s extensively, and in this video, I'm going to share everything I know about it, so you will not need to watch another review video on this fan. We'll cover things like fan speed, battery life, charging speed, portability, and many other aspects, so by the end of this video, you will know whether the Jisulife Pro1s is the right fan for you. I bought this with my own money, so whatever I say is my unfiltered opinion. With that out of the way, let's get into the review. Let's first talk about fan speed. Jisulife claimed that the Pro1s can produce winds up to 9 meters per second, and that translates to about 32.4 kilometers per hour. Although the fan is pretty strong at its maximum fan speed, it is not the jaw-dropping type of wind where you would struggle to keep your eyes open. But even at the lowest fan speed, I was still able to feel a fair amount of wind at 1 arm's length away. The fan speed needed to cool you down can be at a much lower level in an air-conditioned environment since it will be blowing out cold air. However, the opposite is also true. If you are in a really hot environment, the fan will be blowing out warm air, which makes this fan less effective. It is still better than no fan at all, since the wind still does help evaporate my sweat and reduce the humidity around me. I typically go up to 50% fan speed only because the amount of wind is more than sufficient at that level. Beyond 50%, the noise gets to the point where it becomes disruptive in quieter environments. Speaking of noise, the fan is pretty quiet at its lowest fan speed. The sound has a relatively low pitch to it, so it turns into white noise very quickly and people will probably ignore it after a while. I think that the larger fan head on the Pro1s is what helped to keep the pitch low. The Ultra One fan has a smaller fan head and the noise level and pitch on that fan is quite a bit higher and harder to ignore. As someone who is quite self-conscious of myself in public, I was quite reluctant to use the Ultra One model because of its noise, but I didn't hesitate to use this Pro1s model on buses and trains because of how quiet it is. So here is a sound test for you to listen to both fans. When it comes to battery life, Jisulife claimed that this fan can last between 3 hours to 15 hours of use. Note that mine is the 5000 mAh battery because Jisulife does offer a more affordable version that only has 3600 mAh battery. I tested Jisulife's claim on this 5000 mAh version and found that at 100% fan speed, it took 4 hours and 6 minutes to drain the battery fully, which means it lasted 1 hour longer than the 3-hour claim listed on the website. There was no overheating or sudden shutdown and the fan remained as cool as room temperature, as if it didn't even break a sweat running at full speed. At 1% fan speed, it took 21 hours and 18 minutes to drain the battery. Yes, you heard that right. It lasted 6 hours longer than the 15-hour claim. And I guess this is why you hear so many people saying that the fan has amazing battery life. The test was so long that I had to run it across 2 nights before it finally finished. In real-world usage, it could last me nearly a month before I would need to charge it again. Granted, everybody's mileage may vary depending on how frequently you use it and at what environment you use it in, but I think Jisulife has over-delivered on their battery life claims in this aspect. For charging, the Pro1s charges by USB-C. Jisulife claimed that the fan supports 18 watts of fast charging and it will take 1.5 to 2 hours to charge it fully. I tested their claims using my Ugreen power bank and found that it draws 19 watts of power initially. The fan draws lesser power as it gets closer to the maximum capacity, and at the last 20%, it drew less than 1 watt of power. In the end, it took 1 hour and 27 minutes to charge from 0 to 100%. Throughout charging, the fan stayed at room temperature and did not feel warm at all to touch. It's nice to know that even while charging, this fan can continue to operate and you can still make it run at its maximum speed. I tried running it at full speed for 30 minutes while it is charging, and it only got slightly warmer. As for the screen, it is big enough and it's easy to see the numbers when indoors. My mum has presbyopia, but she was able to see it easily without having to put her glasses on. It is quite difficult to see the screen under bright sunlight, but it doesn't really matter because I go by the strength of the wind to tell me that I'm at the right level rather than the numbers on the screen. When you switch it on, the first number that pops up represents the battery life. After 5 seconds, it changes to show the fan speed. Unfortunately, if you want to check the battery life again while using it, there is no way to do so after the initial 5 seconds. The only way is to switch off the fan and turn it on again to check on the battery life. It would be great if the battery life can be shown somewhere on the screen, either at the top or the bottom, so I can monitor the battery life constantly. When the battery drops to 10%, a blinking battery warning will appear at the bottom. In order to switch on the fan, you first have to switch off the safety lock feature at the back of the fan. This helps to prevent it from accidentally switching on while the fan is in your bag. After disabling the safety lock, just give the dial a firm press and the fan will be switched on. The fan speed will always start at the lowest level, so you can't configure it to start at a higher level. The dial allows micro adjustments as you can adjust it in 1% increments. By turning the dial quickly, you can make bigger increments and it will reach higher levels more quickly. Personally, I don't need that super fine level of control and I would rather just have like 10 levels of control so that I wouldn't need to rotate the dial that much to get to the higher fan speeds. When it comes to portability, this thing weighs 260 grams. It is not heavy at all and I can fit it inside my 4 liters Belroy bag, which is a very small crossover bag. I was able to fit it into the smaller front pouch of my Kanken bag, but it couldn't fit entirely into the side pocket because of the larger fan head. When testing on my bigger backpack from Decathlon, I was able to fit it inside the elastic pouch on the strap and also the side pockets. When it comes to build quality, the fan has an aluminium body to help keep its weight light, and I believe that having a metal body also helps it to dissipate heat more quickly as well. The fan blades and the vents are made of plastic, and the dial is likely to be made of metal. It has a frosted matte texture to it, so it does look quite premium. If you're okay with this fan not being as compact as the other Jisulife fans, and you don't need the absolute highest fan speed, then I think this fan is an excellent tool because it can still produce a respectable amount of wind. It is also pretty quiet and the battery can last for an impressively long amount of time. If you do need a portable fan that can produce far stronger winds than the Pro1s, then check out my review of the top of the line Jisulife Ultra 1 fan right over here. If you still have any other questions, please ask me in the comment section below because I read every single one of your comments. So I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.